On the first day, God said, "Let there be light." But no light came, only damnation. But in all seriousness, this is a list of black magic cards that I use frequently in Arena or in real life, starting with my top 5 black sorceries. Number 1 being Demonic Tutor, which is the sorcery that costs 1 and 1 black, and you search your library for any card, put that card in your hand, then shuffle. This is priced at around $38 and is used in pretty much every CDH deck. Coming in second is Reanimate. For 1 black, you can put any target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to its mana value. This card is priced around $19 and is used in a bunch of reanimation decks as well. Now my personal favorite, coming in number 3, is Victimized. It's a sorcery for 2 and 1 black. You choose 2 target creatures in your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature, and if you do, return the 2 chosen cards to your battlefield tap. This is priced around $1 or less, so it's very useful in a lot of reanimation decks for a 2-for-1. One of my favorite new cards, coming in at number 4, is Breach the Multiverse, which costs 5 and 2 black. Each player mills 10 cards. For each player, choose a creature or planeswalker card in that player's graveyard. Put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Then each creature you control becomes Phyrexian in addition to its other types. This card is priced around only $5 or less and is an amazing card in Commander. And finally, last but not least, a good finisher in black would have to be number 5, Torment of Hellfire. It's an X and 2 black sorcery spell. You repeat the following process X amount of times, so as much mana as you want to spend into it. Each opponent will lose 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. This is priced around $20 and is a great finisher in black decks. Some honorable mentions in the black sorcery department would have to be Engarog's Wake, which only costs $2 or less and is a nice one-sided board wipe. Next would be Peer into the Abyss, which is a 7-cost card draw effect, or you can also mill people out very well with it. It's priced around $4 or less. Then you have Unearthed, which is a good way to recur small creatures from your graveyard, and it's cyclable, which is very good as well. It's priced around $1 or less, and then a good removal spell would have to be Feed the Swarm, which can get rid of pesky enchantments and also creatures, and you lose life equal to its permanent's mana value. It's cost around only less than $1. Next will be my top 5 black creatures. Starting with number 1, Pitless Plunderer, which is a card that costs 3 and 1 black, and it's whenever another creature you control dies, even tokens, you create a treasure token. This is priced around $7 as well. And number 2 is Orcish Bowmaster, which is a new card. It costs 1 and 1 black, it has flash, and whenever it enters the battlefield and whenever an opponent draws a card except for the first one they draw on each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmaster deals 1 damage to any target, then amasses Orcs 1. It's almost like a Niv Mizzet per rune as well. It's priced around $55. Number 3 is an amazing commander card called Opposition Agent. It's 2 and 1 black, has flash, and you control your opponents while they are searching their libraries. And while an opponent is searching their library and they exile each card they find, you may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled and spend mana as though they were mana of any color to cast them. It's priced around $23 and brings a lot of hate to the table in Commander. My personal favorite, coming in at number 4, is Mikaeus, the Unhallowed. It's 3 and 3 black, and it's an Intimidate creature, and whenever a human deals damage to you, destroy it. Its most useful ability, though, is other non-human creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Undying, which makes them very easy to recur. It's priced around $10 or less too, so very cheap. And finally, coming in at number 5 is Villis, Broker of Blood. He costs 5 and 3 black, is a flying creature. You can also spend 1 black and pay 2 life and give a creature -1/-1 until the end of turn. And his specialty is whenever you lose life, you draw that many cards. He's only priced around $8 too. And for some honorable mentions in the black creature department, I recommend Runescarred Demon, which is a great tutor, and it only costs $3 or less right now. Pawn of Ulamog, which is a great replacement over Pitless Plunderer and is priced around only $3, though it does not affect token creatures unfortunately and only gives you 1/1s that sacrifice for colorless mana, but is still a great replacement. And then finally we have Blood Artist and Zulaport Cutthroat, which are great pingers on opponents if you have a way to have infinite sacrifice fodder. Blood Artist is also very good against other people that are using sacrifice, while Zulaport Cutthroat just does it to each opponent. These cards are priced around $2 or even less, so definitely pick those up if you can. Next, we'll take a look at my top 5 black instants. Starting with my personal favorite and number 1 being Ad Nauseam. For 3 and 2 black, you can reveal the top card of your library, put that card in your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. You can repeat this process as many times as you want, as long as you got life. It's priced around $20 as well. Coming in second is Vampiric Tutor. For 1 black, you can search your library for any card, then shuffle your library and put that card on top. You lose 2 life afterwards. Priced around $38 and is a really good tutor, especially on an opponent's end step. And for number 3 coming up is Dark Ritual. For 1 black, you can add 3 black, which is a great way to be mana efficient. It's priced around $2, so it's a great staple in Commander. Coming in at number 4 is Demonic Consultation, a great win con that only costs 1 black. You can name a card, remove the top 6 cards of your library from the game, reveal the next card to all players, and if it's not the cards chosen, repeat the process. Essentially, you pick a card that's not in your deck, combine it with Thassa's Oracle, and you can basically win the game. It's priced around $12 as well. And my personal favorite new card has to be number 5, Malkir Rebirth, which only costs 1 black, and has the flip side of being a land if you don't want to cast it as well, which greatly fixes your mana. But you can pay 1 black, choose a creature, lose 2 life, and until the end of turn, a creature gains, when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield. This is only also priced around $5 or less as well. And some honorable mentions for black instants, we have Tainted Pact, which is 1 and 1 black and essentially plays just like Demonic Consultation. It's priced around $14 and great win con with Thassa's Oracle. You also have Song of the Damned for 1 black mana. You can add black mana for each creature card in your graveyard. This is great for mill decks and is priced around $1. Next you have Village Rites, which only cost around 1 black. You sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. Great as well, it's only priced around $1 or less. Next we have a new card in a precon, which is a Deadly Rollick, which is 3 and 1 black, or if you have your commander, it's free, and you can exile any target creature as well. This is priced around $20. Next we have the small category of my top 5 black planeswalkers. Starting with my personal favorite for more of the spark, Liliana Dreadhorde. 4 and 2 black, she has the triggered ability of whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. You can also +1 her to create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. You can -4 her to have each player sacrifice 2 creatures, or if you -9 her, each opponent chooses a permanent they control in each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. This is priced around $18 and is an amazing card. And for number 2, we have Professor Onyx. For 4 and 2 black, she has the triggered ability whenever you cast a copy an instant or sorcery, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. You also can +1 her to lose 1 life, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Her -3 also has each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that that player controls. Her -8 is also each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life. Repeat this process 6 more times. This card's only priced around $9 and is great in a Spells Matter deck as well. Coming in at number 3, we have Vraska's Betrayal Sting, which costs 4 and 1 black, or an extra black or 2 life because of the Phyrexian completed mana. She has the 0 ability to draw a card and you lose 1 life and proliferate. -2, target creature becomes a treasure artifact with you can then sacrifice this artifact to add 1 mana of any color, but it loses all of its card types and abilities. You can also -9 her to have a target player who has fewer than 9 poison counters. They get number of poison counters equal to that difference. This is priced around $6 and is a great card in just trying to remove cards or even proliferation decks. And coming in at number 4, we have Liliana of the Dark Realms. For just 2 and 2 black, She has the ability to +1, search your library for a swamp card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. A -3, target creature gets +X/+X or -X/-X until the end of turn, and where X is the number of swamps you control. And her ultimate is -6, you get an emblem where your swamps you control give you 4 black mana instead of just 1. This is priced around $16 and is an amazing card for ramping in black. And finally, last but not least, an oldie but a goodie, Sorin Markov. He's a planeswalker that costs 3 and 3 black. You can +2 him, and Sorin Markov will deal 2 damage to a target creature or player, and you gain 2 life. Or the most precious ability of -3 and a target opponent's life total becomes 10. Or if you're able to get that ultimate off, -7, you control a target player during that player's next turn, almost like an Emrakul. It's priced around $5 and is a great staple in a lot of decks. And some honorable mentions for black planeswalkers. We're looking at Liliana the Veil for 1 and 2 black. She's priced around $12. She's great at having people discard cards and having players sacrifice creatures. We're also looking at Sorin Imperious Bloodlord. He's 2 and 1 black, priced around $13. Great for getting out vampires out of your hand onto the battlefield with his -3. We also have 2 newcomers, Tavesh and Loth, the Spider Queen. Both these are priced around $6 or less, and Tavesh can be used as a commander, and Loth is a really good way to get some bodies out on the floor. Next, we'll take a look at my top 5 black enchantments. Starting with number 1, Necropotence, which costs 3 black and you skip your draw step. Whenever you discard a card, you exile that card from your graveyard. But her most precious ability, pay 1 life, exile top card of your library face down. Put that card into your hand at the beginning of the next end step. This is a great way to pile on a lot of cards for just paying 1 life each. This is priced around $12 and is a great staple in a lot of commander decks. And for number 2, we have Phyrexian Arena. For 1 and 2 black, it's an enchantment that at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Great way to get some great card draw in black, and it's priced at only about $5 as well. Next, we have an amazing finisher as number 3, Exquisite Blood. For 4 and 1 black, whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. It's priced at around $21 and is a great way to go infinite with any type of life gain, life loss decks. And a new favorite has to be Black Market Connection. For 2 and 1 black, at the pre-combat main phase, you get to choose 1 or more of these abilities. It's create a treasure token and lose 1 life, draw a card, lose 2 life, or lose 3 life and create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter token with Changeling. Or choose all 3 and get the value out of it. It's only priced around $19 and is a great card. And finally, we have the Meat Hook Massacre. For X and 2 black, when it enters the battlefield, each creature gets -X/-X until the end of turn, and whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you gain 1 life. This is priced around $33 and is great in wiping the board and also manipulating sacrifice fodder. And for our honorable mentions in the black enchantment category, we look at Waste Not, which is a great card if you know how to manipulate your opponent's discarding cards and you getting value off of it. This is priced around $3 or less. Next we have Underworld Connections, which is 1 and 2 black. You can enchant a land and tap the land and pay 1 life and draw a card. This is priced around $1 or less. And we also have Dictative Erebos, which is a 3 and 2 black flash enchantment. Whenever your creature you control dies, each opponent has to sacrifice a creature. It's priced around $16, great for sacrifice fodder decks. And my personal favorite, Kaya's Ghost Form. It's 1 black, you enchant a creature or planeswalker, and when the enchanted creature or planeswalker dies or is even exiled, you return it onto the battlefield under your control. This is priced only around $1 as well. Next, we'll look at my top 5 artifacts that are in black. We'll start off with the very best one being Bolas' Citadel. It's 3 and 3 black. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play the top card of your library, and if you cast a spell this way, you pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than paying its mana cost. You can also tap it and sacrifice 10 non-land permanents, and each opponent loses 10 life. This is priced around $7 and is a cheaper version of Ad Nauseam essentially. Goes great in a lot of decks, and I recommend you pick it up. Next, we have my personal favorite, which is Wishclaw Talisman. For 1 and 1 black, it comes onto the battlefield with 3 wish counters. You can then pay 1 and tap it to remove a wish counter and search your library for any card, put it into your hand. You shuffle your library and an opponent then gains control of Wish Claw Talisman, and you can only activate this during your turn. If you happen a way to somehow blink and manipulate this back onto your side of the field, it is an amazing tutor that you can constantly be in tutor up cards. It's only priced around $5 or less and is very valuable. Next we have for number 3 the equipment Mask of Grizzlebrand. It's 1 and 2 black, and equipped creature gets flying and lifelink, and whenever the equipped creature dies you can pay X life, and X is its power, and if you do you draw X cards. Its equip cost is only 3 too, so it's very good at gaining new life and drawing new cards. I highly recommend it in anything that can manipulate the cards that can immediately die, so you can draw those cards as well. It's only priced around $1 as well. Next we have my personal favorite, which is Whip of Erebos, which is 2 and 2 black. It gives your creatures you control lifelink, and you can also activate it for 2 and 2 black and tap it to return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste and exile at the beginning of your next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exiled instead of putting it anywhere else. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. This is priced around $11 and is a great way to just give all your creatures lifelink and the recur creatures as well. Next, for number 5, we have an equipment called Packed Weapon. It's 3 and 1 black. As long as Packed Weapon is attached to a creature, you do not lose the game for having 0 or less life. When a creature attacks, draw a card, reveal it. The creature gets +X until the end of turn, and you lose X life, where X is the card's mana value. The equip cost for it is just discarding a card as well. It's priced around $2 or less and is a great way to basically manipulate the game if you have indestructibility creatures or even are just looking to draw cards off of equipment. And for our honorable mentions, we have Witch's Cauldron, which is priced at less than $1. It's a great way to get rid of creatures and chance to draw some cards out of it. You also have Cauldron of Eternity, which is priced at less than $2. It's a great way to get creatures out of your graveyard onto the battlefield, even though it's high cost. If you're able to mill creatures, it's a great way to return them back. We also have Wand of Orcus, which is a newer equipment. It's priced around $10, and it's a great way to get some bodies on the battlefield, especially if you have big chunky boys that can get through. And last but not least, we have Vial Rebirth, which is priced less than $1, and it's a great way to have manipulation for Vial counters and to recur creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield if you're able to proliferate or even kill creatures constantly. And last but not least, my top 5 black lands. Coming in at number 1, you probably guessed it, Cabal Coffers. You pay 2 and tap it, and you add black mana for each swamp you control. It's priced around $22, and it's great with another legendary land called Urborg that just turns all your stuff into swamps. But this is by far the best one if you're trying to just play a mono black deck as well. Coming in at number 2 is Cabal Stronghold, which is pretty much just a cheaper version of Cabal Coffers. You tap 3 and you can add black mana for each swamp you control, or you can just tap it and add colorless. It's only about $7 or less, so it's basically a cheaper version of Cabal Coffers. For number 3, we're looking at Castle Lochwin. It has the ability when it comes into the battlefield, it enters tapped unless you control a swamp, and if you tap it, it adds 1 black mana, or you can pay 1 and 2 black and tap it, and you can draw a card, then lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. And who doesn't like drawing cards off of lands? It's priced around only $4, so definitely recommend picking it up in a lot of decks. Coming in at number 4, we have Phyrexian Tower, which is a legendary land that you can tap for colorless or tap it, sacrifice a creature, add double black. It costs around $33, and it's a great way to sacrifice your own creatures as well. Finally, for number 5, we have Westvale Abbey, which doubles as a very huge creature if you get its last ability off, which has flying, lifelink, indestructible haste, and is a 9/7. Its other ability is you can pay 5, tap it, pay 1 life, put a 1/1 white black human cleric creature token onto the battlefield. You can also just tap it for colorless. It's priced around only $6 or less, so it's a great way if you're just trying to have sacrifice fodder in your deck as well on a land. And for our honorable mentions in the black land category, we have Shizo's Death Storehouse, priced around $12, Crypt of Algum, which is priced around $5, Takamura Abandoned Mirror, which is priced around $11, and Bajuka Bog, which is probably around $2 or less. They're great utility lands, so I highly recommend them as well. And for one last card in the black category for the books, we have the new battles, Invasion of Fioria, which is 4 and 2 black. When it enters the battlefield, you can choose one or both, destroy all legendary creatures or all non-legendary creatures. If you happen to hit it for its 4, it turns into Marquesa, Resolute Monarch, which has Menace, Death Touch. When it attacks, it can remove all counters from up to one target permanent, so including lands, creatures, planeswalkers, anything. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you haven't been dealt combat damage since your last turn, you draw a card and lose 1 life. It's only priced around $1, and it's a great way to have board wipes and a creature on the same body and also some card draw. Hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Be sure to like and subscribe if you found the video interesting. Gonna be doing more like this. And until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.
Hey, madam, lift that lid off, it looks black.
It is black.
God!
Both of them.
Sick! Sick! It's black!
Yes, chef.
Oh my God!